Right, good evening, boys and girls. Bitcoin is $89,200 and continues to trend downwards. This was expected as we're in a downtrend, but I'm just going to go through some trades I've taken over the last couple of days and what I'll be looking for next. But I do believe that a bottom will be forming soon. If we check the daily MACD, we are really oversold. Definitely due for a bit of relief here on most time frames. And as well, as I've been saying over the last dozen videos, we've retraced below the 50% level of this leg. Hopefully you can hear me all right. Let me know in the comments if the sound is dodgy. I've changed the microphone. So yeah, we've retraced to below the 50% level, which is typical smart money accumulation zone. And as you can see, we've been dancing nicely with the 0.5 and the 0.618 and the 382, just flirting with it, which is nice to see some reactions on these levels. Unfortunately, none of them yet have formed a bottom, but I do think in the next few days we're going to get some of a relief. So as I was talking about in the show yesterday, we've got a clear hourly downtrend, with the high being up here, I think it was. And so what happened within that downtrend just here was a 15-minute market structure shift, which I was talking about yesterday, and I was optimistic that this would be strong enough to form a bottom and send us to break the hourly trend. And I had a couple of trades open in case that were to happen, which as I spoke about on the live yesterday, I'd taken profits at 1-to-1, so that if it did come below this hourly low and continue the downtrend, that I'd be stopped at break even, which I was pretty much on 2 trades. I do still have this render trade open, which I can talk about in a minute. But those are the trades I've taken. And today, if you're following my X, you would have seen this trade that I took. As the total and Bitcoin were both still in an hourly downtrend, I saw some signs of rejection after this tag of an OB. So we tagged into this bearish OB here, and saw a bit of a reaction, especially on the hourly MACD. We had a flip just here. This is where I started to turn a bit bearish, closed out one of my longs, and then let the rest move down to the stops. But on the total as well, we had a slight rejection and an hourly flip. So this was a nice short. As you can see, the 15-minute trend upwards comes into this bearish OB just here. Similarly to the total chart, I mean, that's why I use it. Same OB, came into it nicely. We had a clear 15-minute uptrend. This was broken, the 15-minute low was broken, with a nice, quite a big candle compared to the previous ones. And then we had a choppy uptrend into this 50% zone, which is exactly my entry. I did take it a little bit prematurely because I thought this may have been enough to reverse the trend, but as you can see, I did place my stop in the correct place. Usually I would have liked it up here, but I thought this trend would be strong enough to hold, which it was. So my stop was just here. But that was a nice 2.5 hour trade. I've closed this out now, and I took profits at 1-to-1 as I explained on my X. So do go and follow that. Taking 50% off. I always do at 50%. And then I held it out. So if you want live updates, then yeah, go to my X. This was the short then that we took today, with this downtrend continuing as expected. Well, not as expected, but as part of the plan. Part of the plan was that we were going to continue the downtrend. The other part of the plan was that we were going to reverse, and we had trades in place for both of these situations to occur. More in favor of being short. So what am I looking for next? Well, because I do feel like a bottom will be forming sometime soon, I'm not comfortable longing until we break this hourly high. What would be nice is if over the next couple of days this 15-minute downtrend continues, and it gives us a bit more structure to trade with. And if I'm allowed to trade a 15-minute market structure shift, I will, a bullish one. But currently, if the trend doesn't continue and show us a bit more structure, it's too difficult for me. I'm not going to long when we break this. It's not a big enough high for me. So I'm going to wait for the hourly. And so as well on the total, I'm waiting for this hourly high to break. And on Bitcoin, I'm waiting for this hourly high to break. That will indicate to me that we're going to reverse this trend, and I'm going to take some trades on the break and then some scalps on the retrace if we get it. Hopefully I'll have a chance to explain this to you if it happens over the next couple of days. I can go live tomorrow as well. But this is a similar situation to what's happening with Brett. We've had an hourly market structure shift, nice push, retracement down to the 50%. If the total can hold somewhere here, this trade will be safe. But this just hasn't been stopped out yet. But we'll have to see how the total handles this downtrend right now. Obviously, there's still a long way to go before we break the daily low, 23%. So this downtrend can just continue all the way down. That's why I'm being a bit more conservative with my bigger long swing positions. I need to see a break of this hourly high. And so that's what I'm looking for next. And well, longer term, that's what I'm looking for next. If we're talking about day trading, as I mentioned, I'd like to see a downtrend on the 15-minute begin to form, a clear one with lower highs and lower lows. And this will give me the opportunity to jump in a long position on a 15-minute bullish market structure shift, and get a bit of a nicer entry. So we'll have to see what happens, but so far it looks like the downtrend is going to continue. I have taken profits on my QNT trade. I'm no longer short in the market just because of how low we've come. I think it's risk to reward wise. I don't think it's smart to be holding out long positions that we opened today, longer than a 1 or a 2 hour. So I was happy with this trade today. As I said, still in this Brett long. If we can get a 15-minute bullish market structure shift here, that'd be really nice. But we didn't make a closed market structure break here. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, downtrend continues, and we'll see how the 15-minute structure starts to form. But I'll keep you updated on my X. So do go and follow that if you want live updates. Otherwise, good night.